Bourbon Barkeep, my name's Curtis, and a handful of subscribers out there are going to be pleasantly surprised. We're growing. Bourbon Barkeep is graduating into the American single malt bottle. This is not something that I thought would be on this table from my own pocket, but it is. Can a bourbon person dip their toe into American single malt? We shall see. Stranahan's founder release American single malt. Did not have this on my radar one bit, but the hype got to me, the tasty notes got to me, and I've been curious. I can't help it. Tom, one of our subscribers, has been a big single malt guy. I'm like, you know what? This isn't a budget area that I need to include, but here we are. This is going to be out of El Dorado, Colorado. Never been there. Love Colorado. We shall see if we love Stranahan's. This is going to be their founder's release. 12 years old, 120 proof, coming in at not a super fun $200. When I say it out loud, I don't know why I'm risking it, but I did. This was dubbed the actual founder's release based off of Justin Aiden and Jess Graber coming together and collaborating. They both work for Stranahan's, but at least like collaborating, figuring out these barrels. So they found some barrels 8 to 11 years old, and then they actually aged some of them in ex-bourbon, ex-blonde ale casks for 1 to, I believe, 4 years. Then they came back together. So ultimately, the minimum age at this point is 12 years. Pretty excited for that. This is going to be aged, distilled, bottled, all out in the beautiful Mile High City, which I believe has got to be a suburb. Well, not a suburb. El Dorado would be the suburb of Denver. But they're all doing this themselves. This is going to be their oldest release at this point of what they've been doing out there. Ultimately, the stories are fun. The specs are fun. Let's get into a beautiful Glencairn, and let's see if I wasted this money badly. All right, now the time you've been waiting for. We'll pour it up. As I was pouring this is not one of those bottles where you're like, you know what? It's late at night. I'm going to have a little sippy sip. This guy will get you. This is like every wife's nightmare. She's like, is that the Stranahan's? Oh, my wife doesn't sound like that, but you can tell. Not a pour you're going to sneak. So take that with you. All right, on the nose. Holy God. That is not what I was expecting going into this. You know, you hear the single malt, 100% malted barley. You're like, is there going to be smoke? Not on this one, at least. Man, that almost has like an Amberana finish to it. And I'm not Amberana guy, but heavy cinnamon. This is going to be, I've called it out prior. I can't remember the bottles. This is that ramped up. This is that Boston Market, beautiful cinnamon apple, just coated in that sugary goodness. Man, that's so much apple pie. Ramped up on the cinnamon. Confectionery sugar at this point, but overly sweetness. I'm starting to get alarmed on how much cinnamon, because I don't know. I mean, maybe it's fresh crack. I don't really know. But ultimately, if you handed to me this blind, I would maybe be guessing Amberana. So I'm slightly alarmed. As it starts to swirl around a little bit, open up a bit more, a little more fruit, and a little bit more of that barley coming out, but not in an unpleasant way at least. Once again, I'm kind of going in a little scared, especially with this price tag. I want it to work out, but this nice cherry, orange goodness. But as that barley starts to kind of come out with that cinnamon sugar, just heavy nose, it does bring me into like this nice cinnamon sugar toast, if you will. You know, you're waking up, crack of dawn, you're like, it's either cereal or cinnamon sugar toast, and I don't mean the cereal itself. You pop that baby in, pop it out, sprinkle the cinnamon sugar, you're like, I'm gonna do more because I'm a child. And then it's way too thick. but that's kind of what it's bringing me into. So let's get on the palate. Moment of truth, folks. Whoa. Wow. Man, that's good. That is, man, if you hate apples, you're going to hate this. But boy, that is apple pie goodness. Is it bringing me an apple pie or apple? No, I'm going apple cobbler. That's that crumble. That's definitely the crumble. That's that ramped up goodness. Apple pie, take it back. It's on my mind now. Apple cobbler, that apple crumble, apple strudel maybe with toffee. There's that just kind of butteriness to it. That's bringing me into that cinnamon toast that we were talking about. Slather the butter on so the cinnamon sugar is something to stick to, right? I mean, not a monster. Oh boy, that is good. That is good. That finish. Good for you guys. That is that slow finish just creeping out. I mean, 120, it punches at it, but there are just those certain bottles to where you're like, that is just fire down my gullet. And sometimes that's fun. This one has just this nice slow burn to it. Man, that's good. Hangs around forever. Let's do sip 2, see what else comes out. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised now. I did not think this was going to go this well. Man, that is so darn good. Apple pie filling, strudel, that breadiness is just there with this great kind of honey and toffee. There is just this nice kind of citrusy to it. I'm going to go orange as it kind of sits on the palate, which is forever. It does kind of go into like this nice kind of root beer. Like there's this barks, not A&W where you kind of want to be, but there's like this barks kind of nice kind of bite to it almost. But man, even second sip, you just kind of feel this like really nice slow drip to it. Coats the palate pretty well. Wouldn't say it's just this explosion by any means, but boy, it hangs around forever. And then there's just this nice cinnamon that just kind of hangs. Nice cinnamon. It's almost like when you walk into Michael's and you're 4 months away from Christmas. So obviously they have the cinnamon brooms out. You just walk in like one of those and it just engulfs you. But I like cinnamon and I love apple strudel and apple cobbler. We're going to go in for sip 3, wrap this puppy up, but yeah, this one's going to score well. As a bourbon fan, I mean, you see the name of the YouTube channel. I wasn't even sure if I was dipping into rye whiskey when I started this thing. But as a bourbon fan, this has that sweetness and richness that I would need to get into it. It does kind of stink that it's $200. So I could understand even the bourbon guy that's trying to get into it. I don't even have any other recommendations. This is literally like one of the second, third single malts I've ever tried. And the other ones didn't go well, but we gave it a try. This one, great, rich, this bright green apple in there, green and red, if you will. But even on that finish, those baking spices and this great nutmeg really start to come out. Man, it just hangs forever. I love it. All right, senses categories. This one's going to be a really odd one to score since this really isn't my profile, but I'm here for it. I mean, that barley does kind of, it's in the back. Like I wouldn't, if you poured it blind, the Amberana still kind of reigns true, but I would not tell you that it's a bourbon by any means. There's just that malted barley is there. I'm a little sensitive to it since I'm a newbie at it, but I'm here for it. So senses-wise, this one's going to be pretty tough. I am going to put it into great. I think other people that are more used to the 100% malted barley and the single malt world will score this better. So take that for what it is. But the fact that I'm going to give this an 82, I think should speak volumes. Now, bang for the buck. That one's going to be tough. I definitely got my money's worth. I don't know when it comes to single malts if 200's fair at 12 years, This being Stranahan's oldest they've ever done, and absolutely crushed it, might I add. It does kind of fall below that $10 a year type of mark. It has great proof to it. It definitely drinks like a high-class bottle with that slow drip, great mouthfeel, hangs around forever to where you could sip it slow and taste it between sips, which is always nice. Kind of a sucker for that as well. So definitely got my money's worth. I'll go 60. That may be low, but ultimately at $200, I actually feel like I got my money's worth, and I'm kind of excited to have it. As a bourbon drinker, I think this is a great one. Depending on your budget, I completely understand that piece of it, but I think that this would be a good one to expand your palate with. That's what whiskey is. It's a journey. Figure out what you like, dip your toe into some other stuff, grow your palate. This is a really fun one that I'm going to have on my shelf. This one, absolute pleasant surprise. I understand the $200 mark. Absolutely worth a try. If you see it at a bar, I don't know what it will cost per pour, but it's absolutely worth it.